So today's topic just might be the most important topic we could discuss. It has to do with your life's purpose. All right, big question. So big, in fact, that it almost starts to sound a little bit cliche, right? You ask someone, what's your life purpose? And, we're supposed to say something grandiose or super humanitarian. And there's a lot of scripts out there that we inherit around this topic. And we have to be extremely careful, because if we don't ask ourselves this question with the willingness to go deep and make it an internal locus of control, then we are just going to be probably regurgitating some scripts that we've inherited about what we should be answering to that question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to present a concept that I absolutely love, that's a good tool to start this process of uncovering why you're here on planet Earth. Now, you might believe that there is already an embedded reason why you were born. Maybe this is a spiritual or metaphysical belief that you hold. That's beautiful. You may be in the other camp and say, you know what? I'm here on this earth and it's up to me to determine what my purpose is. That's beautiful as well. There's an existential angle that can be just as fruitful. But there's a philosophy out of Japan that I have found absolutely supportive and enlightening when it comes to this question. And when you invest the time and energy to really dig and tackle it, it can be transformative for your life. It's going to influence everything from the top down in your life, from the goals that you set, from the habits that you develop, from the relationships that you maintain and nurture and seek out. And all these things are going to form a beautiful ecosystem around your life purpose. So this concept I'm talking about is a Japanese philosophy called Ikigai. It's this idea that kind of wrapped into us, into this crazy human existence, is a reason for being, like why we're on this planet. And like I said before, it doesn't matter which angle you take. You could say that you were born with it, embedded in you, and it's a matter of unfolding it. I think that's poetic and beautiful. But you can also take the angle of, I want to create a meaning for this life, for this precious life. That's beautiful as well. But either way, Ikigai is a super helpful tool to go through this process. The best way to talk about Ikigai is to draw a quick little diagram for you on this board behind me. So we're going to talk about 4 aspects that make up this concept of reason for being. Like, why are you alive? Why are you on this planet? Okay, so the first circle is this. Asking yourself, really sincerely asking yourself, what do you love? What are you absolutely passionate about? Okay, this is a key question. This is a starting point. This is one of the greatest clues to why you are on this planet. Joseph Campbell says, follow your bliss, and you'll discover that the path has been there just waiting for you. He said, hidden hands will appear where you didn't know they were. Doors will open where you didn't know they were. That's what he's talking about here, is following your bliss, identifying your passions, and just really leaning into them, embracing them. Okay? That's one thing. That's one thing, right? But passion alone doesn't necessarily define a life purpose. So there's some other components here. And the next component we need to talk about is, okay, you're passionate about things, but what are you really good at? What are you talented in? And this could be, you have the potential to develop great talent, but really this is asking yourself questions like, what comes really natural to me? What do people give me feedback about that I seem to be doing it with ease, that I seem to be doing it with flow? And then so this is the first overlap we look at, right? Something that we're really passionate about, but also that we have some natural talent in, that we're really good at it. And some models stop there. Sir Ken Robinson, a thinker that I admire, he has this concept called the element, and he studied high-performing, highly fulfilled individuals around the planet in a number of fields. And he found that one commonality, one common denominator, was they spent a lot of their time in this sweet spot doing things they were really good at, that they were really passionate about. And he called that the element. Like when you're in that sweet spot, you're in your zone, You're in your life zone. That's your element. That's where Ken Robinson stopped. I love how Ikigai, though, takes it a couple steps further. So we're going to add 2 more circles, actually. So this third circle we're going to add has to do with, what does the world need? What need can you fulfill in the world? And where does that overlap with your passion and with the thing that you're talented in, that you have a talent at? So here we have now a triple Venn diagram, and we have various overlaps occurring here, right? And the Ikigai theory states that if you find yourself overlapping with 2 circles, that's better than just one, but you're going to find yourself unfulfilled. You're not quite there, and you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. And so here we have the conjunction of something that the world needs, something you're really passionate about, and something you're good at. Okay, interesting. So you have those are the first 3 series of questions to really ask yourself and journal about and reflect on and explore. But that doesn't stop. It doesn't stop there either. So parents, don't despair if your child is going through an Ikigai journey. There's a very practical aspect to Ikigai, and that's the final circle. And the final circle is, what can I get paid to do? So when all these conditions are met, I'm in my zone of passion, right? I'm in my zone of genius. In other words, performing something that I'm really talented at. I'm offering something up to the world that it needs, that fulfills a need in the world. And finally, fourth, I can get compensated for this. I can get paid for this value that I'm putting into the world. There you have your Ikigai, where all 4 of those circles intersect. And it's fascinating. This has been, a personal passion and project of mine for years. And I've gone through this process of trying to identify and state my life purpose in the form of a single sentence to begin with that can serve as an overarching filter, life motto, if you will, that can then drive all the other decisions and goals that I set, habits that I develop. And it takes some work. This is not an online quiz that you take or something you do in the back of a magazine and you discover your Ikigai. It's a really subjective journey, but it's a journey that's worthwhile. When you really do this processing and you come to an understanding, you feel a certain resonance. And that's how I would say, how do I know if I found my Ikigai? There's kind of an inner resonance that occurs where you feel aligned and you feel some of these synchronicities that Joseph Campbell described, of the hidden hands and the doors opening. And you feel charged and energized, to be frank. It's not a panacea. It doesn't disappear all human suffering. That's not what it's about. And so yes, you'll have bad days. You'll be down. You'll be discouraged. You'll have doubts. But more often than not, you're going to feel charged up. You're going to feel aligned. You're going to feel purpose-driven. And this is an absolutely exciting experience and totally worthwhile. So, I host a podcast called the New Minds Podcast, and guest after guest comes on and they tell me their story of transformation, of something that woke up in them very often kind of midlife or mid-career, when they realized they were not on purpose. And that's purpose with a capital P. And so they've made this shift in their life. They've had to go through some really uncomfortable transitions and break through some old paradigms and some thought patterns that had them locked in this off-purpose life. And I always say they were following a script that wasn't theirs. And when they do have the courage to make that shift, to make that pivot and seek something that's more on purpose, that's when they're doing big things. That's why we're having fascinating conversations with them on the podcast. Exact same thing with the clients that I coach and work with. So much can be addressed by doing that work of discovering your purpose, defining your purpose, that so many other things fall into place. It's a powerful, powerful process. And Ikigai is just one model. I think it's one of the most comprehensive And even if all you do is you look at the diagram and you use those as guiding questions and do some journaling and do some processing, that's going to move you in the right direction. And I can't overstate what powerful and transformative experience it can be. And it's what I love to do. It's what I did for myself and what I love to do with clients and with others. So absolutely reach out if you're interested in exploring this process and getting some ideas and some guidance. And there it is, folks. Ikigai, your life's purpose, your reason for being. Go get it. Go find it. It'll transform you.